Alright, true believers, welcome back for another episode of My Gaming Diary on the Rounding Off Affinity Gaming channel on YouTube. My name is Please Stamus from GearWorks.com, and we are back for another episode of DiRT2, played on the PC. Let's see how well this goes. So we are picking up directly from where we left off last episode, because I've actually had the game sitting here looping through the end race scene while Dave Petchy and I were knocking out our episode 3 of Nights in the Kitchen, our podcast series on the channel discussing the Netflix original series The Defenders. I actually thought that was a multi-race series, so I'm surprised. I think I've played everything here. I guess this is just a matter of replaying some of these races. Wait a minute. Keep missing that. What does that say? That's just one race. Now, DiRT2 is a 2009 game, I think, so it's about 8 years old. It was one of the multiple iterations in the Colin McRae series, which is, since his passing, has just been labeled as Dirt. So I have, I think, DiRT2, DiRT3, Dirt Rally, and DiRT4. So let's go ahead and run down the hardware that's in play tonight. So I am playing on my primary gaming PC, which features an AMD 6-core AMD FX processor, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and 2 GeForce GTX 1070s rigged in SLI. Now, again, this is a SLI game, or this is a 2009 game, so it does do 4K, but it is not compatible with SLI, so I'm just running using the top GTX 10, the primary GTX 1070 tonight. I do apologize if you've been watching my YouTube channel or any of my podcasts on the E2KG network as of late. You'll know that I've been assaulted with a massive bout of sinus congestion, hay fever, and whatnot over the last couple of weeks. So not see where I wound up with that. Okay, that works. So I'm a little stuffy again for this particular game capture, unfortunately. I do apologize about that. So like I said, I'm gaming on the primary on my primary gaming PC tonight. My video capture device is the AGP Tech VG0020. So this is a pretty interesting capture device because it's so inexpensive. I think they go for about $70 now on Amazon. It's a standalone recording unit, so you don't have a lot of the bells and whistles. There are no overlays, or really there's no set of configurable options that you really have any control over. It's really just kind of fire and forget, right? You plug it in, you cross-connect the HDMI cables for HDMI in and out, and then you attach your own storage device over USB to hold the capture. Now, that storage device has to be formatted in FAT32, so that means one of the things that means is that it is limited on storage capacity in terms of in terms of the maximum file size, which is 2 gigabytes. So the impact that has is this device will only record for about 2 gigabytes maximum file size, so that results in about 25 minutes. probably the most important piece of gear that I'm using tonight are my gray Converse All-Stars, which are my driving shoes for tonight, which keep really good grip on the pedals. He tried to outside in me. Now you can't see it, but the way I drive, a lot of games, particularly Codemasters games and particularly rally games, is with both feet on the pedal at the same time. Now the Subaru is just as fast as the Mitsubishi that I drove here last time, but it has the additional advantage of some additional grip over the Mitsubishi. And half my concern when I drove the Eclipse here last time was that one of my problems with being competitive was the car. I've got a solid grip on 4th place, and I'm definitely hunting 3rd. Now he did outside me. There's somebody up here getting lapped because... Oh, it's not position, it's by time per sector. Great. Kind of took the long way around that turn. Now, of course, the conventional wisdom whenever I play a mode like this is if I'm out in front, then I must be cutting good time, so... Ooh. How did that wind up? Yeah. So in this recording I am using a FAT32 formatted 128 gigabyte thumb drive by SanDisk. And so we've only got about 12 more minutes in this session. And I usually try and record a little shorter than that because I have experienced problems with the file becoming corrupted if I try and stop the recording like right after it rolls, or unfortunately if I catch it when it's rolling to the new file due to the 2 gigabyte file size limit. So unfortunately I'm at the part of the game where I'm just going to have to grind a little bit. Can't afford that. It's weird, I thought it usually wraps around when you get to that point. For the webcam tonight, I'm actually using the Sony Alpha A6000 Micro Four Thirds mirrorless camera as my webcam, which is a really high-end webcam solution, but but I do like the way it comes out. I'm using it tonight with the 50mm prime lens from Sony. And I've got it sitting on top of my lower end Dolica tripod. I don't know if that's how you pronounce Dolica. I don't know if it's Dolica or Dolica. And for gameplay itself, I am actually playing tonight with my Thrustmaster Italia 458 wheel and pedal set. Yeah, that's not good. Like I said, the weird dynamic this game capture device invokes is that, whereas on a lot of other devices I just play until I hit a good stopping point, I specifically have to lift up regardless of what's going on in the game. Oh, before... Yeah, I'm just really monkeying this up. And for voiceover commentary, I'm using the USB, or the Blue Yeti USB. Oh, that's a lot. Yeah, I was on the brakes way too much for that corner.
Everyone all right?
This car probably has the best dirt handling of anything that I've driven on this track so far. Come on, dude. In fact, this might just be the best handling car that I've driven. This is a really tough track.
Is that gonna help you on this one, Tim? I haven't even begun to pull out the moves, kid.
Now, it took me almost a solid year of playing with this wheel and pedal set to really figure things out and get it to work well and consistently every time. The truth of the matter is that setup and configuration really work best when you approach it as simply as possible. And what I've wound up doing is I just configure the thing like a 360 controller. I had him on that turn and I blasted. Come on. I maneuvered to stay out of his way.
Well, at least you weren't last.
That is a true statement. I feel like if I get a grip on that car and its driving model, that I will do a lot better.
I really like shootouts. Want to join me? Just finish in or above the target position.
I mean, I really actually feel like that's a good car for that. Alright, so this is definitely going to have to be my last race of this capture, and in fact, I'm playing dangerously close with the 2 GB limit. I think, actually, Sony Alpha A6000 also has a similar limit. I think the last 2 captures that I've done, my webcam has not carried all the way through, which is something I need to think about when I say that I'm not gonna. No. Oh. A lot of counter steer pulled that one through. A lot more counter steer this time in the race, and a lot more using the pedals to twist the car around. Except that time. Alright. Okay, well that's going to have to do it for me, because I'm not going to be able to restart this race and not hit the capture file split. So, once again, thanks so much for joining in. This has been another episode of My Gaming Diary on the Rounding Off Infinity gaming channel on YouTube. Please check back here later when I will be playing who knows what, because I don't know what's next on my playlist after this. But it's been pretty fun playing a lot of DiRT2, particularly challenging night. Looks like I'm getting into some of the meteor races in the course after unlocking a lot of the